Welcome back to Everlasting Summer. I've decided to change a little thing with the times I release this. I'm gonna do it just every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I'm not just flooding my channel with Everlasting Summer, and I can actually work on other stuff, because usually it's just wake up, record Everlasting Summer, edit, render, upload, release, go to sleep, wake up the next day. Yeah, I'm wasting time with just talking, so without further ado, let's get going. I didn't watch the end of last episode, so I don't remember what was going on, so this should be interesting. Can you give me a hint at least? Nope. She got up and walked towards me. A bit scared, I cleared the way. Don't do anything stupid, Elisa said, moving away from the boat station. I wonder what she meant. And what are those plans? I had no wish to become a part of some terrorist act against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. She's still angry, probably. And I never managed to explain everything to her. Although, I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that has happened, but I couldn't figure out what exactly I was guilty of. Sorry, my cat's getting in the way again. Of course, I started talking. She's like, bug him. The camp was starting to wake up. Breakfast was at least an hour away, but I had no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one there for once. I sat on the steps and watched the sun rising. Sometimes it's great to just watch a new day come. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear up my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in warm rays of the heaven's star. In any other place and circumstances, I could probably even say I was happy. Good morning. You're early today. Oh, she's smiling. I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. She was smiling. You too. All the last night's events flashed before my eyes. Listen. This is about yesterday. Please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It all was... Just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If only it was all that simple. There's nothing about this that is not simple. Sorry, when the scene changed there, my cat just saw the difference and turned her head sharply to the screen. She sat down next to me. So close I felt a bit awkward, but made no move away from her. Sometimes we have disputes with Elisa. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case, it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame. Or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but I'm trying to explain myself like a 5th grader to a teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. If you think so, you should just think about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I've absolutely no idea what's going on here, and that everything, saying it mildly, is very unpleasant to me. Could you express yourself clearer? What for? She said evasively. Look, if I don't know what I did wrong, I can't do better. Can't decide on how to act, as you say. I think you'll understand. I would like to believe that as well, but... Tough. The canteen door suddenly flew open and Olga came out. Sitting hungry this early? She said playfully. Good morning, Lena said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. We were not done talking, but pioneers appeared out of nowhere and flooded the place. By the time I got my breakfast, Lena was already sitting, surrounded by Miku, Xenia, and Slavia. Sadly, there were no more free chairs at their table. Feeling down, not saying hi to anybody on purpose, I headed to my favorite place in the far corner of the canteen. I chewed oatmeal, it was really chewable today, and washed it down with some cold tea. Then I began to watch the others. All the pioneers seemed to be here. Some were chatting, some, like Electronic and Shirk, were immersed in chewing, and some were gaping around, like me. I was about to leave when Ileana jumped to my table with her tray heaped with food. Bon appetit, she blurted. Stealing again? I asked, looking at her tray unambiguously. A growing organism requires lots of calories. Yeah, you really should grow up a bit, I whispered. What? I think she didn't hear me. Nothing. I headed out. Leaving so soon? She yelled at my back, disheartened. I gave no answer. I should have taken the washing up stuff and back. Wait, what? I should have taken the washing up stuff back in. I don't want to carry it around all day. Besides, what am I going to do today? Nothing at all came to mind. I was in such a mood that it seemed like someone was going to show up and invite me on a journey. Probably. I went out of the camp leader's house and stopped for a moment, then heard a voice calling out to me. Semyon! It was Slavia. Love you, spirit. Busy? No. Can you help me? Oh man, my voice can't go this high anymore. I don't know what's up. I've gone through like a second puberty or something. I swear I'm 20. Of course. I didn't want to look for answers on a wonderful day like this. A couple dozen hours would change my situation after all. Maybe it's because I've had a cough like the past 2 days. What is it? You should stop by the Cybernetics Club. Oh no. I don't know exactly. They'll tell you everything. The unfortunate inventors again. Alright. Thank you. She gave me a nice smile and ran off. So, a journey to the enemy's lair lies ahead me. To the lair of the evil Dr. Electronic and the diabolical Professor Shurik. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I pushed the door firmly and entered. Semyon. I can't do his low voice now, because his low voice is my normal voice. What do I do? Electronic said a bit ominously, glancing... Oh, Semyon. Glancing up from some contraption he'd been poking with a screwdriver. Slavia sent me. I know. And? What? The second door opened and Shurik came in. Semyon. He greeted me in the same tone Electronic had. Well, I was Semyon this morning, I joked. So, what do you need from me? We have an important task for you. I'm listening. The nurse came by yesterday. He stopped as if he wasn't going to continue. So? I asked carefully. So we have an important mission for you. Oh, wrong. Oh, they're both in yellow. So we have an important mission for you. I got it already. You are to... I almost did it without reading again, but I was right at least this time. You are to deliver a package to her. Can't you do that by yourselves? The infirmary is right there, I said skeptically. We can't, Electronic said, surprised. What a weird couple indeed. I see. Not another heavy bag, I hope. No, nothing like that. He smiled. Alright, fine. I carefully agreed. Hold on. Shurik disappeared behind the door and soon came back holding something wrapped in paper. Just be careful. Alright. I took the package. If the pioneers weren't passing me the key from heaven, it still looked like they were at least giving me the Olympic fire. Can I go? Of course, Electronic said threateningly. Just be careful, Shurik pleaded. Whoopsie, Butterfingers, dropped it. Outside, I took a good look at the package. They never told me not to open it, although it would make sense to go further. I quickly walked to the square and, making sure nobody was following, slipped into the forest. I just stood there for a while, indecisive, looking at the package. I wonder, what's in it? Why is it so important for them? Why couldn't they just take it themselves? I had a lot of questions. I opened the package and saw a bottle of Stolichnaya vodka. Well, so what? Pioneers bring a bottle of vodka to the nurse. Or rather, I'm doing it for them. Happens every day. I wrapped the bottle back and scratched my head. This isn't weird anymore. This is just stupid. So stupid, I couldn't think of one intelligible theory. This music, damn. I stood there for a while longer and thought I shouldn't let the wonderful chance slip away. I quickly walked to the camp leader's cabin. Thank God Olga wasn't there. I sneaked inside and began to rifle through the contents of the table drawer. Soon, the vodka was in the soda bottle, while its place was taken by some water for the plants. What? Happy with my clever plan, I went out and skipped along the way to the infirmary. Seriously, what is so wrong about that? They almost got me into a trap. If the camp leader had seen me, if anyone else had, we could have managed ourselves. So it was absolutely nothing. I gathered all my strength and knocked on the infirmary door. The voice I can never make up my mind about again. Hello, Pioneer. Pioneer. Hello, I have a package for you. A bottle for your armpit. I mean, a package for your cabinet. A bottle for your armpit? What? I was so euphoric I began to talk nonsense. Ah, she said. Give it here. I handed her the package. The nurse stuffed it into the table drawer without looking. You didn't open it, did you? Of course not, I blurted out. Good boy. Who's a good boy? He's a good boy. Alright, so I'll be... Go, Pioneer. I closed the door behind me and let out a sigh. I had always pinned this on the crazy inventors, and I could use even the most primitive ways to let off some steam. I came to the square. The clock showed noon. That meant dinner was coming. I sat on the bench with a solid intent not to move from here until the come and eat sound bell. Sound comes. Until the come and eat something bell sound comes. Pioneers were running by. They were smiling and shouting merrily. Yes, the day was definitely a wonderful one. I glanced over the square and saw Lena approaching. Relaxing? Something like that. She sat by me and looked at the sky. Nice day, huh? It is. It was a bit awkward. Lena seemed different. She was not embarrassed. Her face was not red. She was confident. So, about that conversation. I told you everything already. Yeah, but... just forget it. If you say so. We sat for a little longer in silence. I just can't. Not like that. So what do you think about Elisa? She said, ignoring my question. What do I think about Elisa? I repeated, lost in thought. I don't really know. Why? You're just so worried about yesterday. Well, of course, but what does that have to do with it? Whoa. There's a direct connection there. She laughed. Let's assume. So what? Well, she... And again, I started thinking. Really, what do I think of her? Well, she can be arrogant sometimes. That's right. What else can I say? Now that I think of it, I don't know Elisa at all. The way she does annoy me sometimes. If you were wondering if I had any negative feelings about her, then no. I mean, she gets carried away, but everyone has their quirks. Lena stared at me. Really? Did I say something wrong? Dude, you said everything wrong. No, not really. She laughed out one more time just before the lunch bell sound came. Alright, see you. I didn't stop her, although I had a lot of questions left. But how do I ask them? And should I? I got up and slowly shuffled to the canteen. There were only a few spots left, so I had to sit with Electronic and Shurik. Did you deliver it? Yeah, I answered lazily, poking my fork into the buckwheat porridge. No incidents? No incidents. What was in there anyway? You didn't open it, did you? He stared. No. Great. Finished with my meal, I went out. I was attacked by yawning. Taking a nap wouldn't be a bad idea, man, and I thought I slept a lot. I headed to the camp leader's cabin. It seemed the summer sun was going to melt the whole planet, together with all of its inhabitants. There was nowhere to hide. The sunlight seemed to reflect from every surface. Looking up, you risked going blind. Using my last bit of strength, I pulled the door handle and entered the room and fell onto the bed. Of course, I wouldn't expect the cabin to be really chilly, but it was better. It was much better than outside. Blissfully, I stretched on the bed and closed my eyes. Strangely, sleep left me. I was overwhelmed with thoughts, teeming in my head. Here's another theory, a solution to the problem of how I got here. Here's what explains what's going on here. And here is the true form of all those inhabiting this place. I remember Lena saying, "What do you think about Elisa?" Seriously, what did I think of her? What can I think of a person I've known for only several days? Can I just make conclusions based on a couple of words and deeds? Although her deeds, I laughed a bit. Any relevant organization would make the right conclusion based on the monument explosion. Still, though, I don't care. Maybe I really don't think I'm anything of her. Can one be interested in a person who's not interesting? No, that's some sort of absurdity. A knock on the door. Come in. I was too lazy to get up, so I just sat up a little. The door opened and I saw Elisa. What a coincidence. She stopped, unsure, and stared at me for a couple of seconds. I guess you were looking for the camp leader? Why would she, though? No. What's up, then? I was looking for you. She sounded calm and not aggressive at all. I caught myself thinking I was not afraid of her and had no concerns when she behaved like that, normally. For what? I want to make everything clear. She sat on the bed across from me. What exactly? I want to rule out any misunderstandings and understatements. I swear, she's getting a British accent too. It's happening to everyone slowly. The British are invading. Alright, I'm in. I'm not even British, I'm Canadian. Have you spoken with Lena today? Yes. About what? Nothing really. You're lying. Elisa looked stiff and worried. She crossed her legs and was biting her lip. You do understand, I'm always painted guilty when anything happens. Well, you always are guilty, I said thoughtlessly. There was a spark in her eye, but she kept talking calmly. Maybe, but in this case, me and Lena, we're always like that. Even if she starts something, she's all innocent and I take all the guilt. So you're saying Lena... Actually, I don't really know what you're saying. You never understand anything, do you? That's exactly what I was thinking. She fumed. This is strange. I wouldn't call myself slow. I would. So explain. You do know Lena likes you. She went red after those words. No. I answered, untruthfully. This is bullshit. You figured that out that last part. I remember that. It's obvious that Lena likes you. Well, now you do. Now I do. Uncomfortable silence took over the room. I was processing what she'd said, and Lisa seemed unsure of how to continue the talk. Lena likes me. Could I ever have guessed? I think my cat could guess before you could. Unlikely. My intuition is usually good, but when it's about me and my feelings, it does not work at all. The weirdest thing was, I took the news with almost no worries. Right at the moment I was listening to Lisa, I was focused only on her. I could think about the rest later. And she thinks I'm gonna steal you away from her. She thinks that all the time. Understand? Even though it's always the other way around. Everyone looks at her because she's such an angel. Nobody pays any attention to me. I'm just a shoulder to cry on. Oh no, don't cry. Lisa started screaming? Oh, jeez. Look, please don't get so upset. I don't think of you like that. Of course. Still had no idea what forced her to be so honest. And I didn't know how to react. Moreover, I was not worried at all. It was like I was watching another episode from some TV series, and what was going on in the room was on the other side of the screen. I understand I was the reason for all of it. But today, Lena said it was okay. That's just like her. You probably realize that she's not as quiet as she wants to seem. Meh. I started to guess. If I can do anything, tell me. Lisa raised her eyes. Only then did I see she's been crying. Some sort of worry stirred inside of me. I could not take this conversation as an outsider anymore. Do you like Lena, or do you like me? I guess I should have expected a question like that. I did, but I just wasn't ready. Just like that. Lena is nice, of course, but Lisa has her perks as well. Besides, the way she was at the moment, she could seriously compete with Lena. I don't really know you two at all. Please let me choose. A question like that. It's difficult to answer directly. If I could say no, I would have at that very moment. But I only had one chance for the other answer as well. And I didn't know what to choose. You did want the situation to resolve itself. Of course, but... Why but again? Why again? Why? Look, we're going nowhere with this. Well, answer then. Her face fell back into the usual bold arrogance. I need time to think. Well, go ahead and think. Lisa stood up abruptly and headed out. Don't forget, we have plans for tonight, she said on the threshold, smiling. The door closed behind her before I could say anything. Plans? What kind of plans? The talk with Elisa left a heavy impression on me. So, Lena likes me. I give up. On its own, the news could shock and startle, and I, above that, was also forced to make a choice. A difficult one, to put it mildly. And any choice I make would be a mistake for someone. Yeah. If only I could refuse both. Although, I didn't like the word refuse itself. If I could just answer her question with a no, it would be easier. But I knew it couldn't work like that. After I talked to Elisa, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. It can't be, no matter what happens. And I'll have to make a decision. Since I rejected the no scenario, I need to pick a positive solution. If, of course, I could live with it. but I was sure that out of all the possible outcomes, there's one not just good for everyone, but also one that I would be striving for. And the choice seems obvious. Lena. She's pretty, she's cute, she's kind. But then again, there's something about Elisa that attracted me. Uh-oh. Wow, it just got instantly silent. Suddenly the door flew open, and Olga came in. Hanging around again, huh? Just resting. It's so hot out there. Go and help Slavia. She was asking. Where? I asked lazily. On the athletic field. Reluctantly, I got up and headed out. I should really air my brains anyways. Brains? You have multiple? Damn. Jealous. No, he doesn't have multiple brains. If you can't figure out that something as simple as Lena and Elisa liking him. There were a lot of people at the sports ground. Some were playing football, others were playing badminton. Younger kids were just chasing each other. Semyon. Slavia walked up to me. You require my assistance? I asked, all official-like. Yeah. Listen, did you take the infirmary key? No. Why me again, anyway? Well, you were there a lot recently. I guess she's right. No. Maybe you know who did. No, why? The nurse came up to me and asked to ask for my key. You know that I have a key to every building in the camp. She said hers went missing. Could she have lost it? I shrugged. No, she said she couldn't have it. She couldn't have. I don't know, okay? Okay. She smiled and ran off. That was it, okay. I headed to the camp leader's house, determined to get some sleep after all. Olga wasn't there, thank God, so I fell on the bed and lost consciousness. I don't exactly remember what I dreamt of, but it left a heavy impression, as afternoon naps often do. I put some effort into getting off the bed and looked at the clock. It was just after 7. Nothing surprising if you think about it. I should have expected to sleep through the day. Although, as it turns out, I missed dinner as well. Though that made me uncomfortable, and I headed to the exit. I stopped on the threshold and thought of what to do next. I don't know how long I would be standing here. My head was still heavy after sleep, if someone hadn't cried out to me. Slavia was quickly walking to the cabin. Semyon! She started breathless. Are you sure you don't have the infirmary key? Of course not. Why would I need it? Well, do you know who took them? No, I don't. Why? Well, something has gone missing. What? Something important. Slavia hesitated. Some medications. So all this disturbance was started because of some medicine. Although, I pondered. I mean, I have the bottle in my cabin. Did she mean that? I tried to keep my face still as stone, without giving myself away by anything. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, Slavia said in frustration. I looked at her and tried to figure out how bad this situation was for me, and whether it was bad at all. On the one hand, vodka. On the one hand, vodka. I did steal it. Then again, she's saying it's gone, as in disappeared all by itself with no external influence. Although it's highly unlikely that she would say that a bottle of trophy vodka was stolen from the infirmary. So the way it was said was okay. The problem was different. I suddenly got really scared. What if they find out it was me? Even if it wasn't about the bottle, they'd still find it while looking for what was gone. Basically, I had to get a move on. The main thing to do right now was to get rid of all the clues. I jumped into the cabin, shoved the bottle under my belt, and raced to the forest. Burying it somewhere was the best decision at the moment. I took my time looking for a spot, never noticing night falling down on the camp. A familiar voice surprised me. "Hey!" I struggled to turn back, making my face look as casual as possible, and we'll continue this with Elisa in the next episode. Bye-bye.